Indeed, you are tuned into the Sunlit Room. My name's Ron Taffy, and you are just in time, because indeed it is 1 o'clock, and we are joined in the Sunlit Room by our special guest, Mary Scholz. Mary, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
We are just thrilled that you were able to take the time to stop by and see us today. Those of you that listen to the Sunlit Room on a regular basis, you've heard lots of Mary's music from her new CD, The Girl You Thought You Knew, and she's on tour right now supporting that CD. And tomorrow night, you'll be able to catch her live at the Hard Rock in Seattle. And if you go, it'll sound a little something like this.
I'm sorry, baby, but I tried. Sorry for telling you those lies. Sorry for messing with your mind. Well, I never meant to make you cry. You say you can't believe the things I do, can't believe the words I say, but I'm just trying to catch the truth so I can throw the scars away. You had your distance to review, had your miles in the way. I'm sorry, baby, but I tried. Sorry for telling you those lies. Sorry for messing with your mind. Well, I never meant to make you cry. Oh. Well, I'm not the one you wanna hold on to. I'm just the one who got confused. Your eyes, they can't see through the bruise from the girl you thought you knew. My lips are twisted and refuse to find the words to say to you. I'm sorry, baby, but I tried. Sorry for telling you those lies. Sorry for messing with your mind. Well, I never meant to make you cry. I'm sorry, baby, but I tried. Sorry for telling you those lies. Sorry for messing with your mind. Well, I never planned to say goodbye.
Mary Scholz, live in the Sunlit Room. Well, you gotta love it. Now, the show that you're going to be playing at the Hard Rock tomorrow, it's a full band show. So as great as that sounded, it's going to sound even better tomorrow, right?
Yes, I'm going to have some fantastic musicians, fantastic Seattle musicians joining me on stage, which is exciting.
Even better. We love the local musicians here at KSER. Now, this isn't just a regular show, though. This is even more. This is a fundraiser. It's a part of the Pinktober.
Yes.
So a certain amount of the proceeds go to the Susan G. Komen Foundation.
That's
is that correct?
Susan G. Komen Foundation of Seattle. So the Hard Rock Cafe has been hosting these events in various locations. I was able to play the one in Denver last weekend, and I'm excited to be here in Seattle to play for this as well. And they're featuring a lot of female acts through the month to do that. So it's going to be a great show, and I really hope that people are able to come out. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of great music going on.
Yeah, it sounds like a great time will be had by all and for a great cause. So
yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
you can't beat that. Now,
when it starts at 9 p.m. 9
that's
p.m.
important. 9
And
p.m.
I start at 9 p.m., so definitely be there.
Yeah, definitely be there at 8 just to make sure you
Yes,
don't
get a
miss
good
a
seat,
thing.
order some food.
For sure, for sure. Now, how did you become involved with this? As you said, you've played other of these benefits at other Hard Rocks around the country. How did you become involved?
Actually, when I was working on booking my spring tour, I came through Seattle at that time. But I was actually speaking with the booker at the Hard Rock in Denver, and we just kept in touch. And he reached out about this whole event and all these female featured things. So he set me up with that show, and then put me on the bill here as well. Put me in touch with Seattle's Hard Rock Cafe, and that's kind of how that happened.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, being a touring musician, I'm sure that you are approached to do a lot of different benefits and a lot of charitable things. How do you make the decision as to what you can and what you just are not able to do?
I mean, as far as fundraisers go, or just shows in general?
As far as the charitable events,
Charitable
where
events?
people ask you to show up and play for some different type of charity.
I'm always very honored to be asked to participate in things like that. So I'm always very happy to do so, and if I can schedule, if it works with my schedule, both touring and otherwise, then I try my best to make sure that I can do all those shows, because I really appreciate the support that people, as an indie artist, we rely so much on support from people everywhere and volunteers for certain things. When you're trying to make a music video and you don't have the budget, and people volunteer their time and things of that nature. So when I get asked to play a benefit of any nature, I really like to be able to make that happen.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, that kind of leads into something that I was going to ask you a little bit. You spoke about the video. And
yes.
if folks go to your website, it's maryscholz.com, and that's SCHOLZ, correct?
That's correct.
All right, go to maryscholz.com. There is a brand new music video that was just released last week, right?
Yes.
And more than that, there's a lot of great videos from not just from this record, but things you've done over the years. So if you're unfamiliar with Mary, definitely check it out. What I wanted to ask about that, how challenging is it to fit in making a video while you're actually out on the road doing tour dates as well?
It can be very challenging. In this particular instance, I actually was back. I'm based out of Los Angeles, and I was back in LA for a little while. I had been on the road for a few months, and then I was in LA, so I had a nice little chunk of time to do that in, and then before I got back out on the road. So I'm in the process of trying to figure out, okay, well, I'm going to be back in LA for a couple of weeks. Do I have time? Can I coordinate this? Can we get this done to do another video? So there's always a time crunch, and there's a juggle, and especially when you're having people volunteer, it's kind of hard to be like, hey, but I need it done now.
We know that feeling.
You do have to say that, or it'll never get done. So it's kind
Exactly.
of, it's one of those things. So this video in
It's
particular,
quite a balancing act.
It is
sure.
a balancing act. This one in particular was the most involved video I've ever produced. It just involved a lot of different people, and it's all about the strength of women who are fighting various battles. It does feature a few women who are battling breast cancer, which is part of why I released it this month, right. And just various different things. So there was all of these women who were involved, and we had a female MMA fighter and a female Muay Thai fighter, and the LA Derby dolls, the Derby girls, And,
it's a very powerful video. I watched it last night as I was preparing for this, and it really is. It's a wonderful piece of work, and I'm sure you're extremely proud, as you should be. It's a wonderful piece of work. Now, switching gears just a little bit. Again, as I was preparing for this, I read as much as I possibly could, reviews of your music and of your live shows and whatever I could find out there on the internet, which is always a dangerous thing because it's not always true. But the one thing that kept coming up over and over again in reviews of your live shows, you're lauded for your ability to communicate from the stage and to make each person there feel like it's a performance just for them. Is that something that you focused on and tried to nurture? Is it just your natural? That's just the natural way you perform that makes it a little easier for you.
I mean, I think that it is something that comes naturally to me, but it is what I specifically would like for people to feel. I sing about very real things for me, and I tell stories and chat with people from the stage, and I just would like for people to feel as comfortable and as personally connected as possible, because that's the point to me, is to be able to personally connect from one person to another, and for everybody to just sort of feel like, oh yeah, I know what that's like, you know, when you're sitting down with a friend and you're like, oh, I was going through this difficult time and then this happened, and then they say, oh my gosh, that happened to me, and that's kind of that's the feeling that I would like to have. So I'm happy to hear that. Oh, I keep hitting that microphone. I'm sorry. I'm happy to hear that is consistent, at least in what people are saying about the show, because that's really what.
Yeah, it really shines through, and multiple different formats where I was reading things. That was something that everyone pointed out.
That's great.
Is that you know, above all, besides being an incredible musician and singer as well, you're just a great storyteller overall, and your songs are also mostly stories, and wonderful ones at that. So again, folks, if you are not familiar with Mary's music, you can go to her website, and through her website you can find her. You're on Twitter, I
sure
imagine?
am.
Yeah, and all the
All the
social
social
media stuff.
medias.
She probably does all of that stuff.
I was just posting on Instagram right now, you know.
Perfect. So a great way to start is by going to the website, maryscholz.com. And again, that's SCHOLZ.com. Can you give us another song?
Absolutely. We'll go with something a little bit more mellow and a little more story-ish. But I wrote this song just about not judging yourself and being kind to yourself and trusting yourself. That's what this is about. This is the last song on the album. It's called Carry On. I don't like the girl I am when I can see me holding another's hand. I can see myself making other plans and see the heart of another man. And I don't like the girl I see with a perfect world stretched in front of me, and all the love that a heart should need, and all I think is that I should leave. Whoa, but you can't stop the world from spinning, and you can't keep your heart from moving on. You can't go back to the beginning. So carry on, carry on, carry on. Well, I just spent another day trying to tell myself there's another way, trying to tell myself that it's all okay, and tell myself that I should stay. But that just keeps me hanging on, and it keeps me singing another song, keeps me thinking that I'm wrong, keeps me thinking that I'm not strong. Whoa, but you can't stop the world from spinning, and you can't keep your heart from moving on. You can't go back to the beginning. So carry on, carry on, carry on. Who knew, knew? Ooh. But if you, I said if you're scared of the road, you're wrong. You're not wrong. 'Cause you can't stop the world from spinning, and you can't keep your heart from moving on. You can't go back to the beginning. So carry on, carry on, carry on. Whoa, whoa, you can't stop the world from spinning, and you can't keep your heart from moving on. Just trust the song your heart is singing, and carry on, carry on, carry on.
Carry On from the CD, The Girl You Thought You Knew. Boy, that's a wonderful song. One of my favorites from the CD,
Thank
actually,
you.
and there's a lot of favorites on the CD. I really do enjoy it. Now, speaking of stories
Yes.
and the new CD, is there a story behind the title, The Girl You Thought You Knew?
Well, so it's one of the tracks of the album, and it kind of comes from a couple of different places. When I originally wrote the song, I was a little bit angry, I guess. We'll say.
I kind of got that.
I was slightly irritated. You kind of get to a point sometimes when you are apologizing for yourself or how you feel or things that you've done or whatever, and you get to a point where you're just kind of tired of apologizing. You've done all that you can do. You've said what you can say. And at the end of the day, you're like, listen, I'm just me, and you can take it or leave it.
Yep.
And in this case, it was kind of a bit of like, okay, so you didn't think that I was this way or that way. This is who I am. So it was initially addressing others, kind of other people who have a certain, we all grow up with people who've got a preconceived notion about what you're going to be like because of what your family was like or where you went to school, both good and bad. And then at some point you're an adult and you're just like, I don't think that's all me, So it was a little bit of addressing other people, but then at the end of the day, it kind of became addressing myself. Like, I'm not really necessarily everything I thought I was. I'm a lot of other things too, and a lot of the album is about transition and self-discovery and just being, not just like accepting who you are, but loving yourself for who you are, because it's very important. You can't love another person unless you love yourself, and you really can't live a full life unless you really.
And that's one of the hardest
yourself.
lessons to learn.
Yeah,
is that no one else can fix you.
No,
it has to come from within. And on the flip side, you can't fix anyone else either.
True.
You just have to give them the space to do it themselves and let them know you're there to help. And like I've said, and I don't mean to fawn too much, but this really is a fantastic record.
I really appreciate that.
There's no clunkers on there. So I was wondering, how long did you spend in the studio to get this record just so?
Well, let's see. I mean, I went into pre-production for it in January, February of last year, which was 2013. Oh my gosh, it's been a crazy couple of years. We packed so much into it. But then actually stepped into the studio to start everything on July 1st. And so we did live band recordings for the bulk of it, and then went into a smaller studio and layered in some acoustic, different things, acoustic things, and then did vocals. So let's see, we started the beginning of July, and by the time, I think I had a show at the very beginning of October, and it was like the last day of vocals. We kind of got, more spread out towards the end of the record. And then we were in for mixing and things. So, I mean, the first single off of the album came out in December of 2013. And then the record actually released in February of 2014. So within a year of stepping into the studio, by July 1st, I stepped in the studio July 1st, 2013. By July 1st, 2014, I had already done a 3-month album release tour of the country. And when I kind of realized that, I was like, oh man, I'm tired. I was so busy pushing myself, like, I got it done, get it out, do. And then I was like, oh wow, that was a lot. That's a lot in a short amount of time.
It sure sounds like it. Now, do you prefer to have the songs pretty much complete when you step in the studio, or do you like to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room just to see if something magic happens?
Well, I mean, as far as the song structure and all that, I like to have that complete and a really solid idea of what instrumentation that I, go in and rehearse with different musicians and just really get an idea of how I want it to feel. And then, of course, when you get in the studio, it is good to have a little bit of wiggle room just to play with certain things because, you think this is going to work out, this is going to be great, and then somebody just sort of picks up another instrument and starts playing. And you're like, oh, wow, that really adds a lot, and I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. So if you don't have the time to do that, then you lose that opportunity. But also, it is a time crunch, too, because studio time is expensive.
It's expensive.
So
Yeah.
you gotta go in there with your A game and really know what it is. But there are certain things. There was one song on the album, Someone Else's Wife, that I had written the whole song, and there was like one line that was missing, and I just couldn't. It just wouldn't come to me, and I didn't tell my engineer or anything. And it was like the day we went in the studio that it kind of just finally appeared, and I was so grateful because I was like, oh good, 'cause we're recording the vocals today.
Now, this is released on Ringlet Records.
Yes.
And that essentially is you,
Yeah,
right?
that's me.
That's your own label.
That's me.
So when you say recording is expensive, you mean it, because this is a sure DIY project.
Yes.
You do it all, and but it shows. The care that's taken, definitely does come through on it. Are there ever times, especially, in the midst of it, like you said, when you were getting tired, trying to get the record done and out on the road touring, ever times where you just kind of sat down and said, I can't do this, it's too much?
Not in a I don't want to do this anymore, I quit way. But I've certainly had my times where I just I need to take a break. I need to just go away for the weekend or crawl into a hole somewhere and sleep. And that, especially when we were in the studio, it was nuts because we were doing overnights there and I was working. It's a lot. It is a lot. And there are certainly moments when I kind of have to take a pause and just really, it's the same thing though every time that happens that I'm like, well, there's nothing else I want to be doing. This is what I want to do. I love it. It's where my heart is. And so though it is difficult, it is worthwhile.
That leads very well into what my next question was going to be, actually. And most musicians that I talk to, of course, they do it for the live show and the instant love. Do you enjoy the songwriting, recording process as well, or is that kind of the evil that must be done to get to the live performance?
That's a funny way to phrase that. I enjoy the songwriting, definitely. And I do enjoy the studio. I've come to enjoy it more so. It's such a different animal than performing live. It's just wholly different. What I really enjoy about that is kind of having the opportunity to learn a new way to communicate, because it is so different, and this is what's going to be, people are going to hear over and over again. Hopefully, because they'll hopefully be listening to your album over and over again.
Exactly.
So it's definitely different than sitting down, being there on stage and having a one-on-one with the people in the audience, because there's no one there to really communicate. You're pulling from a totally different place within yourself to do that, which is why it's daunting, too, because you end up this is it. This is it. My voice is feeling scratchy today, and this is what people are going to hear over and over again, But you kind of have to get over that and just get past it. Well, that's what I sound like. Great, that's what I sound like today. So I have come to enjoy it, though it is not my favorite part of being a musician. My favorite part is definitely just being there and really getting to communicate with people individually.
Yeah, the only musician I can think of off the top of my head that enjoyed the recording more than the live performance was Brian Wilson. Oh, really? And that's just because he had that massive stage fright that he could never deal with.
That's a problem.
But that's always a tough one.
He did just fine with that.
He did indeed. Now, when it comes to your own songwriting, is it something that is a solitary endeavor for you, or do you like to seek out like-minded musicians and bounce ideas off each other?
It's actually really funny that you asked me that, because when I play my last song, I'm going to do one that's a co-write, which I don't do very frequently. So most of the time I write by myself. And then I have, since moving to Los Angeles, I'm originally from Philadelphia, and I moved to LA, and I have met some really wonderful musicians, and I have occasionally collaborated with them, which I enjoy doing. It's the same thing as performing versus being in the studio. It's a whole different style of pulling from yourself and writing. So there are oh my gosh, I'm stumbling over my words now. So while
that means I'm doing a good job as an interviewer. You have to think about the answer. You can't just pop it out there.
Blanket statement. So while majority of the songs on the record I wrote myself, there are 2 on there that are co-writes, and I really do enjoy doing that. It's amazing what other people can bring. Not bring to the table, but, you say it this way, and someone's like, well, what if we phrase it like that?
Yeah, it's just a different perspective that can really make the whole difference in a song.
When you find people that you can work with on that level, it's really great. And it's way easier to find people that you can't. You end up in the writing room with people sometimes, and you're like, I think I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go home and get some food.
I'm going to go get some coffee
in
Brazil. I'll see you later. Now, in your career as a songwriter, I'm sure you've had instances where the song just kind of poured out. It was like it was sent from beyond and just channeled through you. And then also had those songs where, like you were just speaking, it's like right up until the time you recorded it, you didn't have it finished yet. It just wasn't quite right. What's more satisfying, that one that just pours out of you, or that one that you have to work at and finally get just right?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. They're satisfying in different ways. Man, when a song just pours out, I mean, sometimes, so The Girl You Thought You Knew, that one came pretty quickly to me, and that was an awesome feeling, And then I have a song that I just wrote recently that came in a very in a small chunk, and then I just cleared my schedule and sat with it for a few hours and was able to finish it that way. It's kind of like the middle ground. And then there's ones that I was talking about where I sat down and the first verse and the chorus just appeared, and I was like, I love this, and this is so, oh man, I've been wanting to write about this, and then nothing. So when you finally do finish it, if you finish it in the proper way where you're actually satisfied, then that's really a nice feeling, because sometimes you throw stuff in there just so you can sing it live, and you're like, that's not very good.
Yeah.
I don't really like that line. Don't tell anybody. So when you actually...
Hey, but you have to try it sometimes to see if it works.
Honestly, sometimes I'll go to a show and I'll sing a song that's not finished, and I'll just see what comes out.
Yeah.
Because that has happened where I've just sung a line and been like, oh, that's good. Or
and the crowd will tell you right away whether or not they're buying it.
Yeah, or you sing a line and you're like, nope. Most of the time I just end up singing it's like ooze on those lines. But
all right, well, listen, I know that you need to go because you've got some rehearsal to do for tomorrow's show. Yes. Can we get one more song from you before we say goodbye?
Absolutely. I'm going to do that co-write I was talking about. I wrote this with two wonderful writers when I first moved to LA. Jill Kratchmer and John Kleinbell. Jill, I don't know, I assume Jill's not listening because she's on her honeymoon, but congratulations. This song is about moving forward, but about the wonderful friends who help you do so. Looking straight ahead, thinking of what you said when you said stay on the track, don't ever look back. Well, all that you said was true. Somehow you always knew, yeah, you knew I'd work it out. I had my doubts, but you said run baby, run. Follow your feet into the distance. It's only just begun. Oh, run baby, run. Don't ever wait until tomorrow for your time in the sun. Just run. Well, something has knocked you down. What's got you spinning round, wondering when the circus will end. Well, take it from yourself. You know that no one else knows it like you. You know what to do. Just run baby, run. Follow your feet into the distance. It's only just begun. Oh, run baby, run. Don't ever wait until tomorrow for your time in the sun. Just run. You showed me how to make it through, so now I give it back to you. I give it back. I
Absolutely fantastic. Mary Scholz, thank you so much, Mary, for spending a little bit of your time with us here in the Sunlit
Thank
Realm.
you so much for having me.
It's so sad we've completely run out of time, and we didn't even get to talk about your acting career.
Oh,
I will be checking the TV guide, though, to see when Hallmark Channel's Naughty or Nice plays this holiday season.
Boy. Oh, yes.
How big of a part did you have in
Oh,
that?
very small. It's a small little. I play a receptionist, and I'm in like one scene. It was a lot of fun to do, though.
Still, though,
great.
it's there, and I will watch it, and then I'll be able to tell my boy, I know that girl. I know that girl. I know that
That's so
girl.
funny. Well, yes.
Well, before we wrap it up, any last words you'd like to give to our listeners and all your fans tuning in all over the world on KSER.org?
First of all, thank you to everyone for your support, because I wouldn't be able to do what I do without you. If you're new to the Mary Scholz world, please do find me on social media and tell me that you found me here. I actually, if you like my Facebook music page, like my page and then send me a message, and I'm going to pick a couple of people from whoever likes the page today to send free CDs to.
Oh, that's
So
fabulous.
I'll send
Thank you.
two out, to my, because I love this area, and it's just I'm hoping to be able to come back more and more frequently. So.
Well, we definitely hope to see you too. And once again, folks, that is MaryScholz.com. SCHOLZ is the correct spelling. And from there, you'll be able to find the link to her Facebook music page and Instagram and Twitter and all those other social media things that a caveman like me just doesn't quite understand. But I know they're out there, so use them, my friends.
There. And please say hi. I love meeting new people and knowing where you found me.
All right, Mary, thank you again for being here. Thank you to all of you listening today. We appreciate your support.